So there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. I'm going to chime in on it for a particular reason. A friend of mine reached out to me. He stopped me and he said, hey, listen, you've got a lot to say about Coke and gold and coronavirus and lockdowns and the economy and here and there, but you didn't stop to say anything about the plight of our people. And, you know, you're talking about Asher cuts and business and this and that while this is going on. I said, you know what, I do have a lot to say. And I will say it because there's a lot of bullshit going on out there, okay? And I'll tell you why Lady Gaga's here, and I'll tell you exactly why George Washington is here. But first I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be completely blunt. What's going on is right now is people are being duped, misled, and defrauded, okay? And I ask you, you know, for everybody that's African American or descended from a slave, if your ancestors were calling out from the grave, would they be asking everybody to kneel? Would they be asking to defund the police? Right? If you can't hear them, I can. They're asking for the recompense for their labor and their quality of life that was stolen from them. That's what they're asking for. Okay? So, and it comes to the form of reparations. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly why, for 100%, a fact that reparations will eventually come to fruition here in this nation. Because it has to happen. It's the right thing to do. Right now, the nation is in a state of insanity, to me, right? I'm an immigrant in the United States of America. I came here in 1994. I got my own backstory from Azerbaijan or a refugee or the collapse of the Soviet Union or whatever. I don't expect anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't expect anybody to do anything or worry about my problems. I'm here to solve my problems on my own. I'm working, I'm building a business, I'm learning, and I'm trying to pull myself together. For me personally, I can only be thankful that this nation let me through the door to have a chance to play the game. Okay? But on the other hand, now that I'm more of an American than I am an immigrant, so to speak, right? After I've been here for 25 years, I came here when I was 7 years old. It wasn't easy when I came here when I was 7 years old. I didn't have any money. My parents didn't have any money. I had to learn English. I had to go through that whole transition process. I walked into the first day of school, you know, with my clothes from the Soviet Union, and I see everyone's got light-up sneakers and lunch boxes, and I felt like shit. But, you know, I realized that we came to this country for a reason, and it's to make money. Let's keep it real. I want to make money. I want to live a high-quality life. And I accomplished that goal, and I learned a couple of things along the way. And I'm going to teach them to you now, because you got a lot of nonsense bullshit going on out there. And there's a reason why Lady Gaga is here, because she wants to help the African-American community. She can't figure out how. I'm going to help her right now, because... you know, I don't want to pick on her, but, you know, someone's got to go under the bus at this point in time.
In rewriting my speech, I asked myself how I viewed racism in America as it relates to graduation.
Racism in America as it relates to graduation. Well, she's trying to touch up on the subject, right? The very same subject I'm going to touch up on. And you're going to see how I touch up on it, and all of your celebrities that you worship touch upon it. So let's see what Lady Gaga has to say.
When I looked past the rage that I feel about the systemic oppression and physical and emotional violence that has tortured the Black community endlessly,
Okay, so it's tortured the Black community endlessly. We know that. It's been a nightmare road from the beginning, since, you know, Plymouth Rock, what have you. Let's see what she thinks about it. Let's see what her solution is.
Mind turned to nature. When I think about racism in America, I imagine a broad forest filled densely with tall trees.
Tall trees.
Trees as old as this country itself.
Listen, you're not going to get anywhere listening to fucking nonsense like that. Like I'm saying, if your ancestors were reaching out from their graves, would they be telling you about the tall trees in the forest? I don't fucking think so, okay? I tell you what I learned about the jewelry business and what I learned about business in general. What I learned about money, right? You got a piece of jewelry out there, right? I've been doing this for a while, for those of you who know me. The jewelry business, celebrity clients, this, that. I don't play that game. I like to do straightforward business. How does it work? How does jewelry work? The materials, the price, the gold is per gram, the diamonds are per carat, the labor is per setting, and the model is per model maker. Okay, that's how you create jewelry. You combine all those, output comes a piece of jewelry. Right, I learned in my journey, I learned a lot about the nature of things and boil it down to what it really is. So when it comes to the struggle of this, of the African American descendants of slaves, it comes down to the love of money. You got this individual right here, George Washington. There's a monument here in New York City at the George Washington square or what have you, and it says, first to war, first to peace, and first in the hearts of his nation, right? This is what it says on the top of the monument at the Washington Square Park here in New York City. It doesn't say slave owner, and I don't really know why, right? Because it's a part of the heritage now, and it's a part of the reality that this country cannot escape. It's time to deal with it, and it's time to pay up. It's not some slave owner that made some money. And it's the founders of the very nation that built this nation upon the backs of slaves. Okay? How does it work? Well, it's just a money scheme, right? America was all about money from the beginning. The land was free. Sure, people were on it. They were displaced, right? So you got the free land. Now, there's something called the cash crop, which is cotton, right? Marijuana is a cash crop now. Tobacco is a cash crop. What is it? What is a cash crop? It's something that has a value per pound, just like gold, right? It's a gold mine, right? Gold has a value per gram, and cotton has a value per pound. Now, each slave was designated to deliver 200 pounds of cotton per day. That's what I think about. I don't think about kneeling. I don't think about defunding the police when I think about African American. I think about 200 pounds a day and the price per pound. And how many slaves lost in the Atlantic under transition and all the numbers. The reason why George Washington had slaves is not because he hated African Americans or Africans. It's because he wanted free money. So he could study Voltaire and the French Revolution and the French Enlightenment, so he could create a constitution. But he did it off the backs of slaves. And sure, you could say, obviously that's wrong or right, but it's done, right? And probably the only reason why my family decided to immigrate to this country rather than Canada or some other nation or Europe is because this country was richer. And it was richer because it was built off the backs of slaves to begin with. It's all interconnected when it comes to that. And it's all for the love of money. And the descendants of the slaves that ultimately co-founded this nation alongside George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Madison, and whoever else, right, that labored for them, that gave them the opportunity to open up to the crack of dawn reading books and import literature from Europe and do all these things. It was all from the labor of slaves. This nation has to pay. It's no more stories. All this nonsense, all these manipulations that they're telling you in the media and this and that. It just so happens that George Floyd has the namesake of George Washington. And the funny thing is, it's ultimately a crime to me, and I was asked to speak up on it. It's my pleasure to speak up on it. Okay, the crime of slavery is so deep that it resonates. They have money for everything. Oh, we're going to Iraq. There's 2-3 trillion. We got to do this. We got to do that. Oh, we need to do this. Money for deficits. $20 trillion printed, and they don't have money for investing in low-income communities. If you want to take a stand for something, take a stand for that. Okay, African Americans are 12% of the population. Some of them are Jamaicans. Some of them are you're not going to parcel it out. Some of them are from all over the world, whatever it might be, right? They might be from Somalia that immigrated a year ago. It doesn't matter. You got to take the trillions of dollars that you intend to print for all sorts of garbage, stock market, bubbles, and all sorts of shit, and take that trillions of dollars and take everybody who you're spending $50,000, $30,000 a year to imprison anyway, right? All the non-violent offenders, release them into a work program where they could make $30, $40 an hour, automatically save it, let them do solar panels and things like that so they could get on their feet, get people zero down housing costs so they could own their own home. This should be done for everybody in the lower income bracket, point blank. Not this fucking trees in a forest bullshit. You know, I'll break it down. This Lady Gaga, to you, might be a big pop star, an artist. To me, it's just a person with a couple of hits that made a lot of money. And she's thinking about trees and forests because she's living on an estate that's got 20 acres on it where nobody bothers her. So she's prancing around. Her dogs are free as can be, and her problems are gone. You know what I'm saying? And in her head is wacky bullshit. Just like, and it's not just her. It could be black and white and everybody. They're all lying to you. And it'd be crazy that the only one who's telling you the truth is me. But it is. Because that's what it's about. Right? I told you, if you look at back, I got a heads up on a lot of things that are going on. And this is it. Just to make things even a little bit more clear for you. Right? You take the date of this video. I mean, I look like a younger dude right here. You see the date? It's on YouTube. And a little Tracks World channel, February 13, 2017. Just listen to what I'm saying then. Entire Democratic political party, that unless they have a guarantee for reparations in any platform or election, a guarantee written that no vote will be cast in their favor, the entire Democratic Party will collapse. They cannot win unless you get what you deserve. So gather yourselves, create a movement, no justice, no vote, and get what you deserve for the suffering and toil of your ancestors. Like Michelle Obama said, I wake up in a house every day built by slaves when she was living in the White House. She saw the chains of her ancestors, the toil, built the house that she's living in. And it bothered her soul, because she had some decency, so she said something. And I'm saying something too, right? It was my urgent message to the African American community back in 2017, before all the Tekashi 6ix9ine and all and Uncut Gems and everything. 35 views I got. No one gave a shit. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. This is what it is. I'll live to see the day that these reparations are paid, because the fact of the matter is they deserve to be paid. This nation wouldn't be here without it. How could you allow these people to be swept under the rug for so long? And, you know, a guy like George Floyd out there trying to cash a check or do some nonsense, struggling in life with 5 arrests, going through hell, going through excruciating suffering, for what? Because he is unfortunate enough to be descended from people that were abused to build this nation. Now, this very nation needs to take care of what it's done wrong. It needs to set it right. Or else we're going to have more riots, more turmoil, more police killings, more savagery, more deceptions, more media, more fraud. Okay? I've been doing this for a long time. I'm drawing a line in the sand. And I'm telling you exactly what the fuck it is. It ain't about kneeling and about a bunch of bullshit, washing feet. You know what I'm saying? It's about money, and for the love of money. And it's time to pay up.